Today, we're diving into a new framework that's, well, it's kind of like a Rosetta Stone for reality. A single key that might just unlock the hidden patterns in pretty much everything around us. I know, it sounds like the setup for a really weird joke, right? But the answer points to this deep, fundamental truth about how our world is actually put together. It turns out they all share this hidden, layered structure that we're only just now figuring out how to see. So to get our heads around this, we first need to start seeing the world as it really is. It's multi-layered, with incredibly important information hiding at every single scale, from the massive all the way down to the microscopic. And that right there is the core problem we've been running into for years. As this research points out, our traditional tools have been like looking at the world with one eye shut. We either focus on the big picture, or we zoom way in on the tiny details, but we completely miss how they connect. And those connections, that's where all the important stuff happens. This has been the million-dollar question. How do you actually build a system that can understand the whole scene, the individual objects in it, and the fine little textures on those objects all at the same time, without just getting lost in the noise? Okay, let's get into it. To make this big, abstract idea feel really solid, we're going to start with a single, simple thing: a picture of a leopard. Okay, so check this out. Any signal, doesn't matter if it's an image or a sound or whatever, can be split into its different frequencies. Think of it this way. The low frequency part is the blurry big picture stuff, like the leopard's general pose and its place in the background. That's the forest. Then the mid-frequency part gets you the basic shape of the leopard, its outline. Those are the trees. And finally, the high-frequency part holds all the juicy details. The texture of the fur, the sharp edges of the spots, those are the leaves. Now, here's the really clever part. It's not just about splitting things into layers. The real magic trick is what they call a gradient of constraints. The model has to follow super strict rules for the big picture. The forest has to make sense, But he gets a ton more freedom when it comes to the tiny details, the leaves, which allows for all that rich, chaotic variety you see in the real world. And this idea, separating frequencies and playing by different rules for each layer, that's the master key. Because as it turns out, this isn't just a neat trick for making sense of pictures. It's a universal principle.
Yeah, the leopard was just our way in. It's a really good way to get a grip on a concept that applies to almost any kind of signal you can possibly imagine.
Oh, for sure. Think about a piece of music. The low frequency part is the bass line, the rhythm, that's the forest. The mid frequency is the melody, the main tune, the trees. And the high frequency is the timbre, the unique sound of the violin or the singer's voice. Those are the leaves. The same pattern is absolutely everywhere. And that brings us to the breakthrough itself, the Universal Signal Decomposition Framework, or USDF. It takes that core principle and packages it into a single, incredibly powerful method that you can apply to any signal from any field without having to redesign the whole thing from scratch every time. Now, let's see where the rubber meets the road. This is where the theory smacks right into reality, and it gets pretty wild. So just like the framework pulled apart the pose, the shape, and the spots of that leopard, it can do the exact same thing for wildly different kinds of data. It can look at a document and separate the main topic from the sentence structure and the specific word choices. Or it can analyze financial markets and pull apart the huge macro trends from the yearly patterns and the tiny daily fluctuations. It's a genuine one-size-fits-all tool. So let's talk about our first case study, Project Encephalon. Now get this. This is a system that uses USDF to create a real-time, super secure authentication system that's based on your thoughts. They call them pass thoughts. I mean, it's the ultimate unhackable password. So here's how it works. Raw brainwave data from an EEG is a total mess, right? It's incredibly noisy and complicated. But USDF just slices right through it, breaking it down into 3 layers that actually mean something biologically. The low frequency band, that's your overall cognitive state, like if you're sleepy or wide awake. The mid-frequency band tracks your level of attention, and the high-frequency band captures the really fine details of what you're perceiving. You put that all together, and you've got a biometric key that is totally unique, impossible for anyone else to see, and you can even cancel it if you need to. And the performance is just wow. The system has a true acceptance rate of 99.7%, with a false acceptance rate of just 0.01%. That's clinical-grade accuracy. It just goes to show how insanely powerful this decomposition technique really is. But the framework isn't just limited to our internal biology.
You can also point it outward to analyze the huge, complex systems that run our society, starting with something like government finances. Okay, our second case study, using USDFT to detect government corruption. Now, the reason corruption is so dang hard to find is that it happens on completely different scales, on different timelines. You've got systemic corruption, the big institutional stuff, which plays out over years. Then there's procedural corruption, like bid rigging, which happens over months. And then you have the day-to-day transactional stuff, like a simple fake invoice. Until now, you needed different tools to even have a chance of seeing each one. And this just lays out the solution so perfectly. By applying USDF to public financial data, anomalies in each frequency band point to a specific type of corruption. A red flag in the low-frequency, long-term band could signal a major systemic problem. A weird blip in the mid-band might point to some procedural funny business. And a sharp spike in the high-frequency daily data that could flag one single fraudulent transaction. It sees the whole picture. So what we're really talking about here isn't just a handful of clever applications. What we're looking at is a fundamental shift in perspective, a completely new way of seeing the hidden architecture of our world. The ultimate takeaway is this: the world isn't flat. Data, whether it's from an image, a sound, or a financial ledger, is naturally multi-layered and hierarchical. And by building our AI models to actually reflect this fundamental truth, we create systems that are not only way more powerful, but also way more understandable and controllable. And that leaves us with the big question, doesn't it? This framework gives us a new lens to look at everything from climate science and medical scans to our own DNA. If we can really teach our machines to see the forest, the trees, and the leaves all at once, what other profound hidden patterns are just sitting there waiting to be discovered?